has always been important to people. It was a way to stave off loneliness, and it was a way to celebrate happy occasions. Boone County has always been blessed through the years. We have had some wonderful musicians, and tonight we are going to take time to recognize some of those. They're well-known, and there are hometown musicians from radio and from television. One of those was a radio show called Boone County Jamboree. Then it became Midwestern Hayride on television. And we have different people here tonight that are going to share their memories of their loved ones that were part of this. Our first speaker tonight was going to be Debbie Wesselman, but she has a bug and she was unable to come. She didn't want to expose all of us, and I'm glad she felt that way. But we're lucky to have her stand in, her Aunt Faye Kirkpatrick. And this Faye is one of the famous Arnold families that produced a lot of music. And I'm going to turn the program over to you, Faye, right now. Thank you. So I just went by Debbie's to pick up the pictures she has done, and they're over in the table. There was a couple of them are on the easel on the right in the table, so I hope everybody goes over there and looks at them. And I haven't had a chance to read this, so I told her I would come and do this for her. She worked hard on it. Now, Debbie wasn't one of the originals. The originals were Karen, Kay, and Kathy. And then when Kathy married, Debbie stepped in, and she was only 14. So she was really on there 8 years, and Kathy was only there 3 years. And it'll be in this piece, I'm sure. The history of the Midwestern Hayride. In the early 1940s, WLW presented the Boone County Jamboree Show as part of its radio broadcast. In 1945, Boone County Jamboree changed its name to the Midwestern Hayride. I wish they'd have kept it Boone County. And the show was on commercial TV in 1948. The show was performed on WLW TV stations, and that was located on 9th and Elm Streets in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati's Midwestern Hayride began as summer replacement show. This continued to the 1950s. Because of its popularity, and the Midwestern Hayride aired weekly on Saturday evening in the late 1950s. The show was on the air for 25 years. Then she has here, the Midwestern Hayride in 1960s was very popular in the tri-state area. It was viewed by thousands in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Until the 1970s, the show was performed live. So you see, Mr. Western Hayride was the original Saturday Night Live. The first picture displayed over there, I hope I put them up right, but anyway, you can look at all of them, shows the hayride in the 1940s. I have also included photos of various performers on the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a photo taken by my friend Rita Vitter, and Rita's here tonight. She visited the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame located in Renfro Valley, Kentucky. The Midwestern Hayride is part of this display there. Rita was kind enough to share this picture with me. At the bottom of the page is a colored photo of the Hayride cast. This was taken in 1965. I have listed the names of the performers. The 3 Ks. The original 3 Ks were sisters, Karen, Kay, and Kathy Arnold. They are the daughters of Vern Arnold and Mary Ellen Snow Arnold. They started singing when they were just tiny little girls. They were so shy that at family functions with our grandparents, Clyde and Geneva Arnold wanted them to perform. They would hide in the staircase leading to the upstairs bedroom so that the guests could hear them but couldn't see them. As time went on, they slowly overcame their shyness and started to perform in public. Kay sang in a talent show when she was in the 2nd grade and won first place for yodeling. The girls performed at the Lookout House, at teen dances, and of course sang at the Florence Baptist Church quite often. They took voice lessons at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, part of the University of Cincinnati, and studied under Milton Weiner. At that time, Mr. Weiner was the musical director for the Hayride, and when he heard the girls, he just knew he wanted them a part of the Midwestern Hayride cast. The girls started singing on the show in 1963. Their maternal grandmother and Mrs. Snow made many of the stage clothes they wore on the show. So all the family was included in a lot of ways. In 1964, Kathy, one of the original 3 Ks, fell in love with Galen Slade and they decided to elope. Love just works that way. This left an opening with the trio that had to be filled quickly. Since I am the first cousin to the trio, my dad was Walter Buddy Arnold, a brother to Vern Arnold. My mom is Nancy Boner Arnold. I was the logical choice. I got a call on Wednesday and was on the TV show on Saturday. It was a whirlwind and a lot to take in for a 14-year-old girl. Since the trio's name was the 3 Ks, they gave me the stage name of Candy with a K. I hated that name, but it worked for the trio. In 1965, Karen got married and moved away to be with her husband, who was serving in the Army. So for a short time, my mother, which is Debbie talking here, Nancy Arnold, filled in for Karen. We kept it in the family. It was a wonderful thing to be singing on TV with my mother, a memory I'll always cherish. In 1967, Karen returned to the trio and was a part of the group until the show went off of the air in 1972. So Debbie was there 8 years, but Karen and Kay were there 11 years. In 1971, Kirk Arnold, brother of Karen, Kathy, and Kay, joined the show for a short time, performing as a square dancer with the Kentucky Briarhoppers. Kirk graduated from Georgetown College with a degree in music and currently teaches piano and voice. Besides singing on the Hayride, we participated in stage shows, performing at the Ohio State Fair, and we even got to sing at Music Hall. Because we were a trio, we were often asked to do background vocals on songs for other performers. After the close of the Hayride, we continued to sing at several of the recording studios around town, doing background vocals in commercials. You still hear us today on some of the local commercials, especially Kay has done a lot of that. Over the years, Karen moved to West Virginia, and in the 1980s and the 90s, Kay and I performed for the Kroger Company during several stage shows across the country. We even got to sing on the float for the Kentucky Derby parade. Recently, Kay and Karen have joined a group called the Ladies for Liberty. They have performed for air shows and reunions for our armed forces all over the nation. They sing songs of the 1940s reminiscent of the Andrews Sisters. And on the one lane on the thing, I have a little piece about the Ladies of Liberty. Time has marched on. Now we are all grandparents, but we still love to sing. Music has always been a part of our lives. I am honored that you recognize us tonight. Thank you so much. Little did I know when I was spending my Saturdays on Midwestern Hayride that I would be making history. That is Debbie saying that. Now Debbie, I guess, has taken the flu, and her husband has just found out he has myeloma cancer, and is in stage 2, and I hope that all of you will pray for him.
Thank you, Faye. Really, I'll put a little aside here. I almost feel like I was part of that family because I was with them so much. And Faye and I have got go back to when we was 2 and 3 and 4 years old, and things when they'd have homecomings for the whole family. And I saw these children. They were so gifted, but their mother and father was so gifted too with their music. So thank you. We're glad that they were part. And if anybody wonders, they were out where you might say where the airport is today, in that area. That's where they grew up.
I wanted to say that Virginia Lee and I tap danced in the halls of Mira when we were real small in school.
Yeah, we put them to shame. But now, sometime I'll have to bring out that picture and show of her. She was really special. Next on our list, we're going to have someone talk about Jack Reno. Now, he was included in all this group of musicians and that you have heard and will hear more of tonight. And when he was not involved in his music, he was involved in law enforcement from Boone County. He was in the sheriff's department, and we have a picture and a story back here about him. And at this time, I'm going to turn the program over to Beverly Reno and let her share some of his memories.
Thank you very much. One of the things I want to say after listening about Debbie Wesselman is that she is one of the 5 girls. Jack did not choose me to be on the album cover, but he chose Debbie Wesselman and then 4 others for his album. When we came here in 1972, he had just recorded Hitchin' a Ride, which went to the top of the on the different radio stations. It was one of the top songs. And so they came in from Nashville, and they did a picture shooting out here on I-75 by Burlington, the Burlington exit. And Debbie and these other 4 girls are in this fancy white Cadillac, and Jack is standing on the side of the road with his thumb up with his guitar, and they're picking him up. And so Debbie's on that album cover. I didn't bring that tonight, that's too bad, but as soon as I saw that she was going to be here, that she was going to be here, I thought of that. And actually, Jack and I lived on the same street as Debbie has for years and years. I just moved off of Maribay. Jack died, it'll be 3 years. November 1st, he died of brain cancer. Same thing as Ted Kennedy did. Okay, so I can tell you a little bit about Jack. Actually, I was a 7th grader in North Dakota, and Jack was on WNAX in Yankton, South Dakota with Brenda Lee and Red Foley, and he was an 18-year-old. I did not know him at that time, but I remember hearing a song called Wonder Drug. It's streptomycin, ilotize, and oreomycin.